We're going to start off the evening. I'd like to invite to the stage Nicole Pastor. She's a sophomore. Nicole is a sophomore economics and history major who worked closely with Susan Keller, who I know is watching, wanted to be here. She's a successful entrepreneur, business advisor, and a partner with Edward Wildman's and Palmer, and a parent of a Hobart sophomore. Won't you please welcome Nicole?
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, Amy, for the wonderful introduction. Hello to the audience, judges. It's an honor to be up here first. I actually would prefer to go first. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nicole Pastor, and I'm the founder and CEO of Generation Young, a comprehensive web startup centered on financial literacy for young people. Today's 20-somethings, that's us, have accumulated a debt averaging $45,000, and $29,400 of that represents student loans. With the rising cost of college, 77% of us must take out loans to cover costs. Do the math, and that adds to a record $1.2 trillion in student loan debt this year. That's more than 5% of the US federal deficit. 84% of graduating college seniors claim they need help managing their money, but it's very clear they just aren't getting the help they need, as 61% of millennials living on their own still need money from their parents just to make ends meet. For the individual and our economy, this is a major problem. But how can we hold millennials to a standard of financial responsibility if the existing models fall short of providing them with a comprehensive financial education? We really can't. It was from this current culture and my personal observations of the general lack of financial responsibility among my peers that inspired me to create Generation Young. Our mission is to provide users with a personalized education to achieve financial literacy, such that they can take charge of their financial future to live a better and more fulfilling life. The service will provide users, or the education that Generation Young provides, is both preemptive and proactive in focusing on the basic financial concepts of paying down debt, working with the budget, saving, and planning for the future. The website will provide tools to users with which they can visualize their personal finance habits, along with a community that is conducive to personal growth. The service will enter the market through a trifaceted web interface that aggregates media information, provides money management simulation tools, and facilitates financial planning and investing services. The typical Generation Young user is a tech-savvy young adult who wants to learn more about financial concepts, know they need help managing their finances, or feels a general anxiety surrounding financial decisions. To fully understand the user experience, let's walk through it. John is a college student. He has a part-time job, receives a small monthly stipend from his parents, has $25,000 in student loan debt, and he needs help. John goes to the Generation Young website and creates a profile free of charge. He is prompted with a simple quiz to determine his financial life stage, and based on this stage, the media aggregator curates a personalized third-party media mix specifically for John. Using his profile, he is able to repost, comment, and interact with other Generation Young users. This sense of community allows John to feel that he is ready to dive deeper into his personal finances. For a small monthly price, less expensive than Netflix, he is able to have access to money management simulation tools developed by Generation Young with which he can visualize and then actualize his personal finance habits and goals. John now feels that he has control of his personal finances, something that he has never felt before. And now he wants to be proactive. Using the Generation Young interface, he is able to link with a partnering institution with which he can start a retirement plan, allocate his earnings into savings, and build an investment portfolio. Now here's the thing. John may not conduct thousands of dollars in transactions annually, and he probably won't become a millionaire overnight. But he will become financially literate, be inclined to make sound financial decisions, and understand how to dictate his financial future. And he will not feel like he's taking a course in personal finance. But that's exactly the point of this company. We spend a tremendous amount of time online communicating and accessing different types of information. Generation Young simply becomes a part of your daily routine as it delivers a similar web experience to what you were already doing on these social media platforms. As millennials, we have an unbelievably short attention span. We are motivated by self-interest, and we learn differently than generations before us. The success of this company will come from its acute awareness of the lifestyles and behaviors of millennials and creating a tool for them that they will actually want to use. Generation Young will be launched in 3 stages of implementation, so let's walk through it. The first stage is the initial web and mobile optimized web launch. Stage 2 includes the addition of money management simulation tools to the existing website and the transition of active users to paid subscribers. For a monthly price less expensive than Netflix, users are allowed access to these tools that will help them visualize paying down their debt, balancing their budget, and understanding how to dictate their financial future. Stage 3 will include the addition of industry standards dictate that between 1% and 4% of active users of web services will transition to paid subscribers. If Generation Young is able to secure just 3,500 paid users in year 1 of implementation, we will have generated $269,000 in revenue from membership fees alone. Along with additional advertising and sponsorship revenue at this time, we estimate a total revenue generated at $284,000. Stage 3 will include the addition of financial planning services to the existing website through my partnership with a financial institution such as Fidelity or Merrill Lynch. Generation Young will act as the transition between significant financial life stages in connecting users with valuable future partners. This partner will provide the financial infrastructure necessary for Generation Young to facilitate general savings, retirement planning, and investing. Generation Young will heavily leverage social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter to capture members of the demographic who need the tools and services that the web application offers. Due to the low-cost nature of these social media platforms, Generation Young predicts a customer acquisition value of less than $21. Based on an estimated average of 14 months of paid usership, we estimate the lifetime value of a customer at $91. Generation Young predicts that its cost for delivering this user experience at $41, meaning that we will achieve a profit margin of 32% on each new membership acquired. Once the website is launched, revenue will be generated from monthly membership fees, advertising, and commission made on transactions. Another market we have considered is colleges and universities by embedding Generation Young in the coursework. Just as many of you know, some economics classes here require your subscription to the Wall Street Journal. Generation Young wants to become the financial literacy program of choice in colleges and universities across the country. I'm asking for this $10,000 to allocate to software development costs to realistically create the beta version of this website in 6 to 9 months. As the founder and CEO of Generation Young, I have the insight, ideas, and passion necessary to create a tool for young people that they will actually want to use. Our vision is to become the trusted leader in financial education, planning, and investing for young people. The bottom line is that young adults are in trouble when it comes to their money, how to save it, how to spend it, and how to invest it. This company is a tangible and comprehensive solution to the current problems that is ready for implementation. Please help me to create this tool for my peers. Thank you.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
We'll start with one. I don't want to hog it. There's a lot of things you're doing here, right? If you had to pick the single most important aspect of your business plan, what would it be that's going to start or really energize folks to use the service?
Okay, so to build on your question, I think that in creating this service, I was acutely aware of the fact that I'm doing a lot of things, and I think that that's really important. Young people learn differently than generations before them, like I referenced in the presentation, and that requires absorption, analysis, synthesis, and action. And I think that I created this tool to follow that thought plan. So I couldn't isolate one part of this that's important, that is the most important, just because financial literacy is such a complex issue and it requires a really complex and comprehensive solution.
Just to follow up and maybe a statement, focus is super important in any business plan.
Absolutely.
Right? Doing too much, it's like peanut butter on bread, right?
Mm-hmm.
You spread it out. So being very, very focused and have a very specific feature that's going to drive might be an important thing to consider.
Right. Okay.
And I'll just, I guess, both a question and a comment, and part of this is just coming from my technology background, but this is pretty sophisticated, interactive, both web and mobile design,
Mm-hmm.
and the infrastructure that's required to drive the best customer experience, as well as some of the security concerns that
Absolutely.
people may have. Wondering what your thoughts are around. Do you feel like you have really a good handle on what it takes from an infrastructure perspective to deliver on the experience that you set out to do?
Yeah, I do think that I have definitely understand what it will take. That's why we estimate a startup cost that's so large. I wanted to be really conservative about that and estimate something that was realistic based on the infrastructure necessary to facilitate all of these features. So I do understand that, yes. And as far as liability and security, those are of utmost importance to me, just because millennials, they care a lot about trust as well. And I think becoming a brand that people can trust, that they'll use and they'll continue to use is really important. So I think I do have a handle on the complexity of it. I've spoken with a lot of people in the industry, consulting people to potentially join my team. So that's definitely a consideration that I have had.
Nicole, great job.
Thank you.
Much like someone gets an envelope, they know it's bad mail, they don't want to open it up.
Mm-hmm.
Did a great job outlining bad news for young people coming out of college. How do you get them to go open the envelope up? How do you get them to go in and start doing the Nicole way?
Absolutely. So I think infiltrating the market is very integral to this brand, absolutely, as any web-based brand. I think that one of the really important things about Generation Young is how easy it is. In my development of this brand, I investigated LearnVest a lot. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And Alexa Von Trobel has done an amazing job creating these tools. But personally, I signed up for a subscription, got frustrated in about 15 minutes, and ran the other direction. I have just as short of an attention span for that kind of thing as the rest of my generation does. And that's an issue. So I think if we can effectively communicate the interactive nature, how sexy and sleek and fun and interesting and easy this is, I think that's the way to capture this demographic.
Yeah, and my only comment, just sell the carrots. I think it's a lot of stick in that if you don't get on board,
Right.
bad things will happen. Financials will get worse and worse. But
Exactly.
you throw some carrots in there and get people motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a great idea. I have two millennials myself, and a lot of friends who have millennials, and they have great jobs, and they can't even pay for their rents. And as parents, we are constantly having to fill in the difference, and I only wish that they would have a simple, easy way to start managing their finances and their debt. So I really like this idea, and I think it is something much different than E-Trade that's going for an older generation.
Absolutely.
This generation, I hear you, it's got to all be in graphics and colors and drop boxes and fun things. My only thought is this generation is really all about, it's got to be a mobile, it's got to be an app,
Right,
in my
absolutely.
mind. Otherwise, I like your idea very much.
Thank you. Well, just to respond to that, The initial launch of the web application, I'm building the website with responsive design, meaning if you've ever used a website that looks differently on your mobile device than it does on your desktop, that's exactly what that is. It's rescaling of the graphics, it's rescaling of everything, using responsive design so that you can access it on your phone. Then with the addition of the money management tools to the website, that is realistically when I will launch the mobile application. I've absolutely taken that into consideration. This idea began as just a mobile application, and I thought that I could deliver the experience a little bit better if I expanded to the web, but that's absolutely part of the plan and will come in stage 2.
Great presentation, by the way. And I totally agree with your subject matter in the sense that people really don't know how to plan or what the basics are. So I think the focus you have is great. The one area of concern I had was the fact that you might be co-opted by whoever your financial partner is. You might want to look at maybe having multiple partners and help them make a selection on which of those partners is best suited for whatever stage they're in.
Right.
So that it's less a lead campaign for whatever, because the financial institutions don't really have the best reputations. So that may take away from a really great idea.
Right.
And also your independence in terms of what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. One of the things that I have began to think about and develop in that way is choosing partners for specific parts of those stage 3. So if I find a financial partner who is able to facilitate the stock market transactions at a better way and give a better user experience to the people using my website, I'll choose them for that. If they can do other functionalities as well, I have no issue with that, but I think that identifying valuable partners is part of creating that trust. And so that's very important. If a different, say, like a Fidelity can do one part better than a Merrill Lynch can or an Ameriprise can, that's absolutely, it's bringing together the best people to deliver this experience.